And now, ladies and gentlemen, it's the star of our show, direct from the bar,
PB.
What is going on out there, peeps? Man, people really need to wake the hell up to our political candidates that are out there. Sometimes you need to take a step back away from what you see in front of you and see the bigger picture. This guy running for mayor, is that right, or governor over there in New York, he's a lot more dangerous than you think. It's not so much that he's running as a socialist. This guy is a Muslim. That's the bigger picture. He'll say and do whatever it takes to get into office. And that includes pushing programs that he knows a lot of people will support. All he needs to do is get into office. He knows that the programs that he wants to push are never going to pass. But he don't care because he's pushing a bigger agenda, or he's part of a bigger agenda. Let me show you what I'm talking about. Before we get started, do me a favor, hit the thumbs up button. If you're not a subscriber, please do so, because when you do, it helps out the channel, and I certainly do appreciate it. Could a pro-Palestinian Muslim be New York City's next Democratic mayor? This puts him in a position of power, and there's a lot of idiots out there voting for him and don't know what this guy stands for. It's really freaky. But it's not so much the socialism that bothers me as much as the fact that he's a Muslim, and I'll show you why.
Just this week, you were evasive with a reporter about condemning Hamas. Given New York has the largest Jewish population outside of Israel, why should voters who see this as a moral red line trust your clarity and judgment?
Well, I really appreciate this question and an opportunity to just clear up, I think, a number of misconceptions. First and foremost, you're right. I am running to be the mayor of the city, and this city will be the focus of my administration, ensuring that we make this a city everyone can afford and everyone knows that they belong to. And also, millions of New Yorkers, myself included, care deeply about what's happening in Israel and Palestine. And so to be very, very clear, of course I condemn Hamas. Of course I've called October 7th what it was, which is a horrific war crime. And of course, my belief in a universality in international law is also the same set of beliefs that have led me to describe what's happening in Gaza as a genocide. Because what we see is a war crime being answered with war crimes. And what we see is every single hour the Israeli military killing a Palestinian child for close to 2 years. And it's a horror that many New Yorkers feel so deeply.
God, get the fuck out of New York City if you're sane. I just don't even know. I'm not in the mood today. Maybe it's, I don't know. I'm really not. His universality and international law. As I explained to you guys the other day, international law is not real. It does not exist. If you are a citizen of the United States, you have to abide by the laws of the United States. The international law is nothing. It is basically a giant farce. Mamdani's selective outrage is a masterclass in hypocrisy. He condemns October 7th as a war crime, but labels Israel's self-defense a genocide, a grotesque inversion of reality. This is the same guy who refused to sign a Holocaust resolution, compared globalized the Intifada to the Warsaw Ghetto Uprising, prompting condemnation from Holocaust survivors, and pushes BDS to isolate a democratic ally. His universal international law shtick crumbles when he ignores Hamas's atrocities while weaponizing ICJ rulings against Israel. Mamdani doesn't want justice. He wants ideological theater that endangers Jewish New Yorkers and empowers Iran-backed extremists. Condemning Hamas while laundering anti-Israel venom is in balance. It's moral bankruptcy with the press pass. Yeah, this guy is a radical. He is dangerous. And then he explains Mamdani's positions to Mamdani supporters and...
Voting for Zohran, you are.
Yeah.
Can I get your signature for support?
Sure.
Okay, wait, I'm required by law. I just have to read you like 3 of these policies. You're cool to elect a mayor who won't condemn Sharia law.
Yep.
Sharia law. I'm denouncing them. I'm asking you. I'm running. I know about that.
Okay, cool.
I don't know about that. But,
Oh, you don't?
well, what is this?
It's just like a lot of his policy positions and stuff. You have to recognize the DSA's Bill of Rights socialism, so he'd replace the Bill of Rights with... You can read all this. This is out there. You still want to do it or no? Oh, he's going to tax white people higher? It's on his website.
See,
first.
I just don't think that this is exactly his policies.
You can look all of it up. No, this
Right.
is literally the first thing on his website about taxing whiter
It
neighborhoods.
doesn't say whiter.
No, it literally says whiter neighborhoods. Okay.
I don't know what's going on here.
Wait, so you voted for him in the primary, but you didn't know about that?
Okay, but this is what should piss you off. It was funny at first, but the more I thought about it, the more pissed off I was. These people don't know what these politicians stand for. They just hear clickbait and they think it sounds exciting, cool, free this, free that. There's nothing that's free. But not just that. This guy is claiming to be a socialist, promising you all kinds of programs that he knows he cannot deliver. And when they fail to deliver, you know what they always say? It wasn't my fault, it was somebody else's fault. They already know they're going to fail. But his goal is to get into power, not so much push a socialist agenda. He knows that's going to fail. He just wants to get into power because he has another agenda that people aren't talking about. Let's get into that.
Now it's getting through Congress. So before it was by the sword, now it's getting themselves into parliament and then making laws that act as the sword, the Islamophobia law in Canada, M103.
Yeah.
Muslim Brotherhood.
I find that there are only two things which are open to our movements. Ballot or bullet, nothing in between.
I used to say that democracy is haram. Now I say participation in democracy is our jihad. That's our jihad. We're going to fight not through the bullets, but the ballot.
Going to the ballot and voting is now an obligatory action, fard ayn. And it is a jihad that is now needs to be done because this is our modern jihad. You can elect a person who wants the Sharia.
Because in the United States, what we do know is that in the past election, just this last election, there have been over 800 Muslim candidates running for office.
We may end up with about 50 members of Congress in the next 6 years. That's really the essence of dismantling the system of injustice, is to replace it with the people who represent the Prophet ﷺ.
Oh, you heard what they're saying. Screw trying to fight the United States because the United States is too powerful. Instead, what we'll do is we'll take over their political positions and then enforce Islamic State on the United States. And so you got to ask yourself, is that even possible?
The city of Hamtramck puts a new face on representative government in America. For a century, it was a Polish-American enclave in Michigan, surrounded by the city of Detroit. Now, a wave of new immigrants from Yemen, Bangladesh, Pakistan has eroded the dominance of Warsaw. In 2013, the city became majority Muslim. A call to prayer echoes past the Gothic spires of Catholic churches, and the aromas of Poland mingle with the scents of the East. This year, for the first time, the mayor and all 6 members of its city council are Muslim, the only entirely Muslim city government in the United States.
Downtown Hamtramck bridges its past with its present, with the Polish-American Congress right next to a Bangladeshi business. What's changed is it's now just 7% Polish and majority Muslim.
The changing face of the city hasn't come without controversy.
There's the people who want to be like, oh, they're going to bring Sharia law and all the women are going to be forced to cover and women aren't going to be able to drive anymore.
So are people wrong to assume that? You hear what she's saying? There's this assumption that Sharia law is going to be implemented. She knows as a Muslim, they are obligated to pass Sharia law.
Britain is Darul Harb because they are, anathema to God's law. They're not implementing it. They're violating His sanctity, and therefore, this is war against Allah and His Messenger. We are obliged as Muslims to take the authority away from the people who have it and implement the Sharia. Now, I hope that can come in a very peaceful way. I hope that we can do that in a way, where there's no bloodshed. The Messenger Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam said that if the Muslims have authority and they have the ability to remove oppression, they must remove the oppression. So we believe man-made law is oppression because they are implementing non-Islamic law, violating their own sanctity. So if we are in a position of power and authority, we are obliged to take that authority, with the minimum force and to implement the Sharia, certainly.
You heard what the man said. They are obligated. Their religion obligates them to push Sharia law. You notice she didn't say that they wouldn't pass Sharia law. She just brushed it off like, ha ha ha. It's just one of those stigmas that are attached to Muslims. People believe that this is what's going to happen. But you hear this gentleman here, they are obligated to push Sharia law.
Do you think Islam will eventually overtake Christianity here in the United States?
Worldwide, not just the United States.
Wow.
We have people converting every day.
How you guys doing? This is Sahar TV, and today we're going to watch Nick Shirley, one of my favorite YouTubers recently, going to Minneapolis, a city where the Muslim population is growing like no other place in the United States. He's going to ask some questions about Sharia law, about Islam coming to the US, and more. Let's take a look.
We're going to get radical, hardened, militant Islamists to come into America.
Islam is the #1 growing religion here in the United States.
Yeah.
Why do you think that is so? Do you think Islam will eventually overtake Christianity here in the United States?
Worldwide, not just the United States.
Scary.
I
think Islam hates us.
The rise of Islam is real here in the United States. It's the fastest growing religion across America, and it's nearly doubled in size over the past 2 decades, and with Muslim women averaging 3.1 children compared to 1.6 for the American average, Muslims aren't just outpacing the nation in birth rates, they're also out-converting Christians.
Yeah, and we got all those loony people from the left saying we don't want to have babies because they don't like the United States. And those people got brainwashed for a reason. There's another agenda behind it. You see right here, the Muslims are outpacing Christians when it comes to birth rates. So you need to pay very close attention to what these people are saying.
Mosques are gaining members and they're keeping them. And today I'm here in Minnesota, home to one of the largest Muslim populations in all of America, to witness the rise firsthand.
So is this already happened? Because you heard what the man said. They're smart now. They know they can't beat the United States in a war. So forget the jihad by sword. Now it's jihad by word. All they're doing is coming here in the United States, take over a town, and then put their people in positions of power. And little by little, like they do in the UK and like they do over there in Australia, they take over a town and then put themselves into politics and they take over our politics. This is Dearborn, Michigan, here in the United States.
يا خشن ومدرب وجسر.
This is Dearborn, Michigan in the United States. It's not the only place though. This is in Niagara Falls. This is what Melbourne, Australia looks like.
I think it's time now. I think it's time to come together. Now that we've figured out who we the people are, protect our people. Our people. It's time to not be divided. Now we know who's on the plate. Always helps. Thank God. Keep me going on this app. Thousands and thousands of people for speaking the truth. You guys got it. We got it.
This is in Philadelphia. This is in Texas. The Muslim people are in the beginning of building their own city.
Epic City. It is the planned Muslim-centric neighborhood set just 40 miles north of Dallas, and it's got a lot of attention nationwide and from the top leaders of Texas. Yesterday, Governor Greg Abbott announcing the state has halted any construction of Epic City and has launched multiple investigations into the development alongside the Department of Justice. My next guest has been following this story closely, and joining me now is a senior journalist for Texas Scorecard, Aaron Anderson. Aaron, thanks for being with us here today. Let's set a little background for those who are just catching up on the story of Epic City. It is a planned development under a existing Muslim community and mosque, where the plan suggests 1,000 homes, a mosque, a community center. It does not suggest you have to be Muslim to live in the community, but it will be a life centered around the values and the life of Islam. It has garnered a ton of attention and a lot of concern. Here you see that not only has Governor Abbott and Attorney General Ken Paxton, but the Department of Justice for the United States launched investigations into Epic City. I know you have visited it recently. Can you give us a little bit of an update on what you've seen, what's happening out there?
Well, yes, thanks, Will. The development or planned development has caused a lot of interest and concern. It is being developed by a group that has been based in the city of Plano for more than a decade. They decided to expand. They bought property in the unincorporated county, and so far it's just basically farmland and marketing. So they started last year marketing the properties, and as you mentioned, the plans are expansive: homes, a mosque, community centers, schools. But that's all on paper right now. Right? It's still empty farmland. They are still in the very preliminary early stages of the development. And so it was interesting to see Governor Abbott's message on X stating that he had halted construction because no construction has even come close to beginning.
Empty farmland, right?
Empty farmland.
Empty farmland and plans for Epic City.
An entire city for Muslim people. That is their plans. In Minnesota, there's a call to prayer over loudspeakers.
For the first time, every mosque in Minneapolis will have the opportunity to broadcast a call to prayer outside their doors. Muslim leaders in the city are calling it a step towards equality for all.
Take a look here. 40,000 gather in the Minnesota Vikings turf to celebrate prayer. This is in Minnesota. Pay attention to the size of the crowd. East Plano Islamic Center. This is over in Texas. This is what it is they're trying to build. So no, it's not so much that you need to focus on this man trying to push socialism. That's not his true goal. His true goal is to convert New York into an Islamic city. Let that set in. Anyways, I'm curious to hear what you have to say. That's it from now. I'm out.